Good evening, Manitou, and welcome to the final Fireside of 2020. It is surreal to think that today would have been the last day of camp. We are all still facing this new reality, and we truly feel we may never come to grips with the fact that a summer at Manitou has been lost. But in a way, that's okay because it shows more than ever how important camp is to us, and every one of us will learn from this summer experience. The fact that we feel a loss so great shows all of us that the privilege of going to camp is something we will continue to appreciate for years to come and hopefully forever. So tonight, it's only fitting that our theme is about connections, because camp is all about those personal connections with each other. It may be about getting up on skis or hitting a tennis ball for the first time, or creating a beautiful song up at the rock studio, or paddling down the river. But ultimately, none of this matters unless the people we have connected with have made this so special for us. The ones we came up to camp with, and especially the ones we have met along the way. When we get up on skis for the first time, it's the staff that helped you and taught you. It's your fellow campers cheering you on, and it's telling your friends in your cabin that makes this experience turn into a memory that will last a lifetime. All of these incredible memories come from the relationships you make at camp with your cabin mates, your kids at your activity, your counselors, the head staff, the specialists, and even the directors.
These connections happen because you are part of a unique community unlike anything you've ever experienced, where everyone supports and cares for each other. These deep connections are created because you can be yourself in a technology-free zone, true to yourself, and you don't have to portray yourself on social media. At camp, you can just connect with face-to-face communication, so every connection you make is that much stronger, more honest, and more meaningful. So it's only fitting tonight that you'll hear about some other wonderful organizations that create meaningful connections. Firstly, you'll hear about our Baycrest Buddies program, where 9 of our CITs have dedicated an entire year to make new connections with an elderly person at Baycrest. Baycrest is Canada's leading seniors home, hospital, and research center. And how wonderful to know that when one day someone asks, what did you do to make your COVID year of 2020 as positive as possible, that these CITs can proudly say they changed the life of a complete stranger and never knew how fulfilling that would be. These CITs have just started down this path, but we know that the significance of these relationships will remain forever. Next, you'll hear from a wonderful charity called Make-A-Wish Foundation, who provides special wishes to kids that are critically ill. When children are battling severe illness, so much of their normal childhood is taken away from them. It's exhausting both emotionally and physically. So giving a child a wish is something that gives kids the opportunity to look outside their illness and reconnects them with their sense of childhood. We hope that these two charities inspire you and get you to reach out to make the most out of your year. Finally, Jeff and I, along with Jen, Alec, and Melissa, ironically feel is connected with all of you more than ever, despite not being at camp. Because as parents, you've stood by us with support and love at every turn. As alumni, you've sent messages of kindness when we needed it most. And as campers and staff, you've shown a strength and resilience in some cases you never thought you had. We miss you all and are so proud of all of you. And we will see you at camp July 1st, 2021. And we guarantee it's going to be the best summer ever. And now, once again, I would like to introduce Rach Klein, who will do the land acknowledgement.
Hi Manitou, welcome to the last Fireside of this strange 2020 summer that's had us calling in from all over Turtle Island, from all across North America and the world. We're very grateful to be gathering virtually even when we can't together. But just like we do when we're up at camp, we've been doing land acknowledgements with each of our gatherings. This is a way of recognizing the history of colonialism on the space that we're lucky enough to live on, and making a commitment to a better future in which we really recognize and move forward against the violence that's been caused by these histories. I'd like to start by reading a poem from the collection Tea and Bannock, which was released in 2016, and it's an anthology of Indigenous poetry. So this is by Robert Dadhialassi Hall, and it's called Learning the Salmon's Language. After I read the poem, I'll be doing our general land acknowledgement, which is for the Toronto area, where I'm calling in from, where our off-season headquarters are. But wherever you're calling in from, wherever in the world, I really encourage you to take the time to learn about the history of colonialism on the land, learn about Indigenous people who lived there, and learn about current actions happening in your area to work against colonialism, to work against racial violence, and to work towards a better future for all of us. So this poem is called Learning the Salmon's Language. Learning the salmon's language with the help of this paddle. They are close just as water controls life for them. The paddle moves me to their home, and they ever fail to come back to me and say to me, "My brother, I know your ancestors." We wish to acknowledge that this gathering is taking place on the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River, on whose land we work, live, and play. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. I would also like to acknowledge the current and ongoing efforts happening in Toronto by the community collective Afro-Indigenous Rising and give solidarity to their peaceful protests. We are grateful for our hosts today, every day, and always. And as I've done in each of these gatherings, I just want to remind us that our land, our beautiful Manitou Waubing Lakefront Camp, is in very good hands. It's being held by the earth, by our wonderful, hardworking caretakers, and it comes from a long line of land protectors that will continue in the many years to come. And I'm looking forward to the day when we can all gather on that land and do these acknowledgements and do this work in person. Sending care to everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Rach. Now, as it's customary at Fireside, we want to give out a candle. And this month, we decided that the candle should go out to a very special group of people, and that is our CITs who would have been at camp this summer. Because the way that they have handled their situation is absolutely remarkable. We are so proud of them. They have asked great questions. They have been team players. They have really, really shown incredible maturity. And we know how hard this is to miss their CIT summer. All we can say is, we love you guys. We're so proud of you. And you deserve this candle. And we hope that you can carry on. And we look forward to you being on staff, hopefully in 2021.
We are excited to announce our partnership with Baycrest, a global leader in geriatric residential living. Our CITs were offered a unique opportunity this summer to take part in a pilot program, the Baycrest Buddies initiative. We are proud to have 10 CITs connecting with seniors in our community, one of the most vulnerable and isolated populations right now. This group embodies our Manitou values of supporting and learning from the wisdom of the older generation. As a Baycrest Buddy, our CITs have committed to creating an ongoing connection with a senior for this upcoming year until summer 2021 begins. Tonight, we will hear from Jessica Taylor, manager of the leadership development at the Baycrest Foundation. Jessica has been instrumental in getting this program off the ground, and we are honored to have her here with us at Fireside. Please welcome Jessica.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Jen. It's been a true honor and pleasure to work with you and the Manitou leadership team on the Baycrest Buddies initiative. As Jen mentioned, my name is Jessica Taylor. I'm part of the Baycrest Foundation team. My role has been to involve a younger demographic in supporting Baycrest. We originally began with the 20s and 30s cohort, forming the Baycrest Young Philanthropists Initiative, and we are so pleased to have now expanded our age range to the just under 20s crowd through the Baycrest Buddies program. By way of background, Baycrest is a global leader in geriatric residential living, healthcare, research, innovation, and education with a special focus on brain health and aging. When the pandemic hit, we had an outpouring of interest from the community looking to support our patients and residents. When Manitou approached us wanting to create an opportunity for CITs to get involved in something meaningful, to give back, and build new relationships with Baycrest and our residents, we had the full support of our Baycrest community to make this initiative happen, from our CEO, Josh Cooper, and the full foundation team across volunteer services, the terraces, and many departments in between to bring Baycrest Buddies to life. And we are so grateful to have had Camp Manitou's support in this journey and the 10 CITs who've taken the leap to join us in the program thus far. These 10 CITs are now being paired with clients at the terraces of Baycrest retirement residence for weekly conversations, phone calls, maybe even FaceTime or Zoom, that will allow them to build a relationship over the next year and maybe even beyond that we have no doubt will be a meaningful connection for both parties. Baycrest's vision is to create a world where every older adult enjoys a life of purpose, inspiration, and fulfillment, and we have no doubt the Baycrest Buddies will be contributing to this in a very special way. So from all of us at Baycrest, a big thank you to Camp Manitou and the Baycrest Buddies who joined us thus far. We certainly hope to see this program grow and evolve and to bring more campers in down the road, and we can't wait to see what's to come. So with that, I now turn it over to two Baycrest Buddies, Mikey Baker and Samantha Blackstein, to say a few more words.
It's not every day that we're given the opportunity to help others in such a personal and meaningful way as the Baycrest Buddies program. For those of you that don't know, the Baycrest Buddies program is a new partnership between Manitou and Baycrest to pair up CITs and residents at the Baycrest terraces for weekly calls. The overarching goal of the program is to establish long-term relationships between us and the residents. When I was given the opportunity to take part in the program, I immediately signed up because I know that now more than ever, those staying at the wonderful facilities at Baycrest may feel isolated as a result of their limited contact and interactions with their families, friends, and support networks. Having been a part of the Manitou community, I know how beneficial it is to have people to confide in and talk to, which is not only the magic of camp, but something I hope to share with the residents at Baycrest. So far, only a couple CITs have met their buddies, but more of us are getting paired up by the day, and I can't wait to meet mine.
This summer definitely looked different for all of us. Instead of heading up to our home away from home, Camp Manitou, we all had to rearrange our plans. You might have learned how to play a new sport, try some new recipes in the kitchen, socially distance with your friends, start a new television series, play a few board games, and the list goes on. Personally, I've been taking part in some of the activities that I just mentioned. However, the most meaningful opportunity that I am presently taking part in has been Baycrest's Adopt a Grandparent initiative. I was paired with an elderly individual that resides at Baycrest Terraces, and this person is my Baycrest buddy. This particular initiative provides me with the opportunity to have meaningful discussions with my buddy about anything. This can range from things going on in my own life to what is going on globally. Specifically, older individuals are feeling incredibly isolated during these uncertain times, as it is challenging to interact socially due to the fear of contracting COVID-19. Therefore, this program does a great job in connecting the community and bringing positivity into everyone's lives. I chose to take part in this initiative as I wanted to step outside of my comfort zone. This past year, I've had the opportunity to volunteer with smaller children in an aftercare program that my school offered, and I also continued my volunteer work at a children's clay studio. Both of these experiences enabled me to work with children, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time volunteering. However, I felt that I wanted to try something new, and therefore work with older individuals. I find that I gain new perspectives with each volunteering opportunity that I engage in. Moreover, I'm lucky to have a very strong connection with my own grandparents, and I feel that this will help me when I converse with my buddy, as I'm used to sharing stories and being a good listener. I've already had the opportunity to meet my buddy on the phone, and even though we've only had one call, we are already starting to create an everlasting friendship. My buddy's stories are inspirational, and I can't wait for our next call. When I heard about this program, I immediately thought back to the Manitou Fireside poem, where we always say, "Double blessed is the generation in which the young listen to the old." These words resonate with me more now than ever before as I am seeing this message come to life.
It's now my pleasure to introduce you to dear friend of Baycrest, Mr. Marvin Gord, and his mission to walk 1 million steps and raise $1 million in support of Baycrest in advance of his upcoming 100th birthday. Mr. Marvin Gord, or Marvin as he prefers, served in the Second World War, after which he had a career as a pharmacist, and then in finance, law, human resources, marketing, you name it, Marvin probably studied or had a career in it. He is an inspirational man for many reasons, and we are so grateful that Marvin has chosen to support Baycrest as he does something special to mark his 100th birthday. Funds raised through Marvin's Million will be directed to Baycrest Safeguarding Our Seniors campaign, providing for critical protective measures and equipment to keep patients, residents, and staff safe, as well as equipment for clinicians to reach patients remotely via telemedicine, and technologies to help patients and residents stay connected to their loved ones. Marvin is taking care of the million steps, but he will need some help in reaching his $1 million goal. We are so grateful that Camp Manitou and the Baycrest Buddies have taken an interest in Marvin's story, and we are hoping to count on all of you to help champion his mission. But don't take it all from me. Here's a little more on Marvin and the man himself to say a few more words.
My name is Marvin Gord. Getting to 100 means not very much to me. Getting to 150 will probably be terrific.
I think that Baycrest to me is memories of family. My grandmother, who has volunteered for many years at Baycrest, taking me to see her brother who was in there when I was just a young little one. And as the years went on, going to visit aunts and uncles who were also being looked after in Baycrest. So my father walking for Baycrest and raising money for Baycrest is very important and very heartfelt.
Yes, my first reaction was excitement because we had seen the print, we had seen the article together, and what he said to me was, "I can do this." And a light went on inside him, and it's been like that ever since.
My Zeta has taught us to follow through on our commitments, that if you say you're going to do something, you follow through and you do it.
At a point in his life where he could be sitting back and taking it easy, he has offered himself for several months to walk and make the effort to raise money for an institution which has been very important to him.
We all are so proud of him for doing. We're all trying to walk along with him and to help Baycrest along the way as well.
The community should support My Zeta and the Marvin Million campaign because Baycrest is such an important institution.
I support Marvin's Million because I know all funds raised will go towards Baycrest's important SOS campaign.
I support Marvin's Million because I'm inspired by his commitment to mark his 100th birthday milestone in such a meaningful way.
I want to support Marvin's Millions because he wants to show his gratitude to Baycrest, who has helped support his family over many years.
I support Marvin's Million because I know all the funds raised will help keep Baycrest patients, residents, and staff safe during the pandemic.
I know every dollar donated is equal to one step that Marvin takes in his mission to 1 million steps.
I support Marvin's Million because he was a brave World War II veteran who wants to give back.
I support Marvin because he deserves to fulfill his wish by making the world a better place by his 100th birthday.
I support Marvin's Millions because Marvin's not afraid to take risks and reach for the stars, and we want him to succeed.
I'm supporting Marvin because growing up at Manitou, I've learned about the importance of giving back to the world around me and showing that Manitou cares.
I support Marvin's Million because I want to be a part of helping Marvin make the impossible possible by December 31st, 2020.
Go Marvin, go! Go Marvin, go! Go Marvin, go! Go Marvin, go!
Thank you, Camp Manitou, for all the help you've given. That will help us to help Baycrest.
Thank you, Jessica, Marvin, and of course, all of our Manitou CIT Baycrest Buddies for giving us better insight into both our Baycrest Buddies pilot program and, of course, Marvin's Million. We were so inspired by Marvin's story, and in light of our new partnership with Baycrest, we've created our very own Manitou team page for Marvin's Million. As our Baycrest Buddies explained, every dollar raised represents one of Marvin's Million steps. We encourage you to visit our team page, which is manitou.marvinsmillion.com, to support this incredible and inspiring initiative. We hope you will all join our team and help Marvin reach his goal. Now that we have taken some time as a Manitou family to better understand how the oldest members of our community are impacted during regular life and currently in a world with COVID-19, we will now shift our focus to the second part of tonight's Fireside to learn more about some of the youngest members of our community who have lived with and triumphed life-threatening illnesses and the impact that Make-A-Wish Canada has had on their lives.
Now we are thrilled to welcome to Fireside Tiffany McDonald. For the past 5 years, Tiffany is the Regional Vice President of Central and Eastern Ontario for the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Canada. As you will hear from Tiffany, Make-A-Wish and Children's Wish recently merged, and together they do incredible things in the lives for so many children needing their support and generosity. So Tiffany, welcome to Fireside.
Hey Jeff, thanks for the intro. I'm Tiffany. I want to say thank you to the entire Camp Manitou community for letting us be part of this amazing Fireside chat. Children's Wish and Make-A-Wish came together October of last year, and we integrated together so that we could grant more wishes. So what we do at Make-A-Wish is grant the most heartfelt wish for kids between the ages of 3 and 17 who are living with a life-threatening illness. It's an exciting time for us that we came together to grant more wishes to deserving kids across the country. However, then COVID hit. So we've been seeing the effects of that very deeply since it hit. And we've had to cancel upwards of 400 wishes. And we do 3 types of wishes. So there's item, celebrity, and travel. And unfortunately, because travel's 70% of our wishes, we're being hit really hard and having to let kids know that it's either being canceled or postponed. I know that you're all being affected by COVID because we're doing this Fireside chat virtually, but just consider this for a sec, that for what we've been dealing with for the past 5 months and the fear of the unknown and the fear of the virus, our families deal with it their entire journey. They worry about a common cold, not just a pandemic. They wipe down all the surfaces all the time. They have to have isolation for their kids with immunocompromised systems. Family members visit from a window and from a doorway at the hospital. Siblings get isolated from the families and stay with grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles because they can't be around their other siblings. They deal with being out of school for sometimes months to years, depending on their journey. And the whole financial scare because one family member's had to stay off work to be able to take care of this situation. So what we've been dealing with for 5 months, and all of us are thinking, oh my goodness, we need a vacation. That's what our wish kids deal with their entire journey. So a wish is not a nice to have, it's a need to have. It's something that is really part of their healing journey. It helps them in so many ways to look past what they're going through and dream and be a kid. And that I'm getting emotional. That light at the end of the tunnel is really important for them. So I want to introduce you to my incredible, brave, courageous ambassadors. You'll meet Gabe. Gabe's wish is waiting. Unfortunately, his has had to have been one of the ones that was postponed, so he's still waiting. And then you'll hear from Lily. And Lily's wish was to meet her idol. Was a year ago, I believe, in June. So super excited to introduce you to my amazing friends, and we're all going to become friends in the end. So thank you again to the entire Manitou community. We really appreciate your support at this time.
Hey there, campers. Nice to meet you all virtually. My name is Iron Gabe, and my family and I are part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You see, when I was 6 years old, I was diagnosed with cancer that was really hard to beat. But Make-A-Wish told us they would try to just make it a little bit easier. They offered to grant me and my family a wish as a way to celebrate how hard we all fought. In April of this year, I won my battle against the evil villain leukemia, and we all chose a family wish to go travel on a Disney cruise in November. Sadly, that has been postponed due to the COVID-19 showing up. But it doesn't change the fact that I am no longer fighting. We all know someday soon it will be safe, so our wishes will come true and be granted. We are all very grateful to all the people that help make donations so wishes like mine can come true. Things always don't plan out how you think they may, but hope is a pretty amazing superpower to have. Thank you so much for all the support and hope we get a chance to visit camp next year. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
My name is Lily, and in 2018, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia and HLH. At the end of my 6-month admission in the hospital, I was granted a wish. The child life specialist told me that I could pick anything I wanted, and I knew right away that I wanted to meet my idol, Ed Sheeran. I've loved Ed Sheeran for years, and I listen to all his music, who's who I look up to. When they said that my wish might not be able to be granted, they told me to pick a backup plan. So I said, it's okay, I'll ask again next year. Lucky for me, I did not have to, and I got my wish granted that year. We went to Portugal with my family. Children's Wish made sure that it was all safe for me and that I was ready to have the best time. When it got to the day of meeting Ed, I was super excited and super nervous. This was my dream for years, and I never thought I'd have the opportunity to actually have that dream come true. When we got to the venue, we were super excited, and we got to meet him backstage. I was super jittery and excited, and when I met him, I was crying, and I could barely get a word out. He gave me a hug, and he was super nice to me and my family. I got to go backstage and see his set list and hold his guitars, and it was super, super cool. They explained to me and my sister and my mom how everything worked and how his tour went on, and it was super exciting. And in the middle of a show, he changed his set list and played a song that I had written in my letter to him on how much I loved, because it was in a movie, my favorite movie, The Fault in Our Stars, and he had written a song for that movie, and it's my favorite thing ever. And he said, Lily, if you're out there, this is for you.
And she wrote me a very, very nice letter. She flew over with her mum and her sister, and she wrote me a very nice letter, which I read. And she told me that her favourite movie was Fault in Our Stars. And I wrote a song for that film, and I'm going to dedicate it to her. So Lily, if you're in the audience,
and he started playing the song for me, and I was super excited, and I was super happy. I was laughing, I was crying, it was the best I've been in a long time. My wish made me feel like myself again. It made me feel like I didn't have to go to the hospital the next week. It made me feel like I didn't have to deal with cancer. It made me feel like a kid, and it was the best. My family and I got to bond and have fun, and it was amazing, and there are no words to describe how grateful I am. And other kids really deserve this. It's the most exciting, thrilling, magical event or anything that you can ever get after having a hard time. So, yeah. Bye. Thank you.
Wow, that is so powerful. Thank you for sharing your stories. And I now want to introduce someone that is so special to Camp Manitou, a dear friend, and has been our camp doctor, and their family have been part of our community for what would have been 17 summers if camp was running this summer. I would like to introduce Jeremy Friedman, who is the medical advisor for the Children's Wish Foundation. And I think Jeremy, as well as anybody, can tell you why Children's Wish is so special in terms of an organization.
I've been involved with Make-A-Wish for about 10 years as their medical advisor.
first with the Children's Wish Foundation, and now that Children's Wish and Make-A-Wish have got together and become Make-A-Wish Canada, I'm working as a medical advisor for Make-A-Wish Canada. When I think about what we put children through when they have a life-threatening illness, all the time in hospital, all the painful procedures, all the operations, all the medications with all their terrible side effects. It's just such a fantastic thing to be able to give them something that's all good and no strings attached and isn't painful. Just gives them an opportunity to focus on something that's joyful and that's optimistic and that's hopeful. So certainly as a doctor, best prescriptions that I can give is a wish for a child with a life-threatening illness. You can imagine that a family who is going through something like this with a child who has a life-threatening illness, we all have good days and we have bad days and we go through things in our life, but when you have a life-threatening illness, it puts everything into perspective, and it really is a life-changing experience for families. Getting a wish is just an incredible opportunity for the family to focus on something different other than this life-threatening illness which consumes every day of their life, but allows them to focus on planning something fun, something good, something that their child is going to love, whether they decide they want to go on a trip to Disneyland or the Galapagos Islands, or their child wants to meet Justin Bieber or LeBron James. Doesn't matter what the wish is, it just gives them a chance to get really sort of involved in something incredibly optimistic and positive. The other thing as a doctor, I would have to say, there's more to a wish than just giving a child something really awesome. We've done studies looking at the effect of optimism and hope and joy and laughter on a child. And if you do something called functional MRI, basically shows you what part of the brain is really active at the time. You can see that if a child is smiling and happy and cheerful about something, that the parts of the brain that pick up the pain are much less active. So it's a very clear indication of how, if you have fun and joy in your life, how pain from whatever the cause is becomes less. So that's just like a very real example. And I do think that, at Manitou, where Mark and Jeff and the whole team work really hard to instill this community awareness and feeling of how important it is to think about people who are less privileged and less able to enjoy and appreciate some of the things that we do every year at summer camp. This is just such a phenomenal fit in terms of a charity for Manitou, because quite honestly, it could be any of us, it could be any of our children who have a life-threatening illness. So this charity certainly could affect any of us, and it just does such incredible work that is just unbelievably special, and I'm glad that we're supporting it this year.
Thank you, Gabe and Lily, for sharing your heartfelt stories, and to Tiffany and our very own camp, Dr. Jeremy Friedman, for giving us significant insight into the true impact of Make-A-Wish Canada. We can now see the immeasurable power that these wishes have for the children who are facing unbelievable challenges, but who have shown unimaginable resilience. During these unprecedented times, as we navigate COVID-19, we have all been more isolated from our families, our friends, and the communities we hold near and dear to our heart, including our special Manitou family. We hope that by learning about Baycrest and Make-A-Wish Canada, that it offers some needed perspective. From the oldest members of our community at Baycrest to the youngest members who have faced life-threatening illnesses, these two groups are affected by this pandemic in ways we can only begin to try and appreciate. And the risk and effect that this has on their daily lives is unprecedented. It's important to remember that some of their necessary isolation and precautions taken began long before this pandemic. The realities continue to exist even as our circumstances begin to improve. We know by supporting Baycrest through our Buddy program and helping grant more wishes for kids through Make-A-Wish Canada that we are helping forge deep and meaningful connections with those who need it most right now. Because of the restrictions that exist, advances in technology have paved the way to create new opportunities. For children facing serious illnesses in the hospitals or older individuals stuck in long-term care facilities, creating opportunities through virtual reality has become increasingly popular. By putting on a pair of VR goggles, a person who may be stuck in the hospital for months, years, or even potentially their entire life could have the opportunity to virtually go on a safari, watch their favorite musical, or perhaps even have a bit of the overnight camp experience. This summer has been the equivalent of us only being able to wear a pair of virtual reality goggles. We all had to forego our summer plans up at Manitou, and we have only been able to experience camp from a distance, virtually. We know we will move forward and eventually have our realities back again, but let's not forget that for others, those limitations not only reflect their present, but also their future. So while this reality is difficult for us right now, let's remember that for some, these virtual experiences is all some have ever known, and potentially for some, all the reality they'll ever know. While we have run many virtual programs, we haven't been able to bring you back home to camp, but we are hoping with this, it feels one step closer. Several years ago, we brought a special videographer to camp to capture Manitou in 360 degrees. From music lunches to flagpole and the waterfront, these videos are as immersive as it gets. Given how much we are already missing our home away from home, we are excited to announce that for the first time, we will be releasing all of this footage to our entire camp community. You will actually be able to click on the videos and explore parts of camp by rotating 360 degrees. We are fortunate that we have these videos to share so we can have a taste of home. And we are also fortunate that for us, unlike others, these videos are only a temporary solution. Stay tuned as we will be sending out a link with the videos in our next email. Over the past many months, we have worked hard to keep the magic of Manitou alive from home, and from all the way back in March through to tonight, all the way in August, we have run many virtual programs for our incredible camp community. We have taken time to reflect on our 2020 summer during this final Fireside, and we want to take a moment to recap all of the wonderful programs and amazing memories we have made from connecting online over the past months. We had the opportunity as a camp community to experience 5 virtual firesides with 9 guest speakers, a virtual fireside song compilation, 35 Instagram takeovers of all kinds, 1 week of late night concerts and bedtime stories, our Manitou hand wash challenge, the super duper cleanup competition, many fundraisers for Evangel Hall, masks for the frontline workers for Bag and Bougie, and local PPE creation in partnership with the STEAM Project. We had virtual birthday parties with Echo Age and our Manitou Camp Foundation. We supported the Shop to Share initiative supporting women and children in crisis in the Durham region. We got involved in the virtual bracelets program. There were cooking programs galore, from Will's Meatballs, Baking with Shelley, Cooking with Arlie, Outdoor Barbecue with Dennis and Q, Treats with Reese. We found our inner superpowers with the Character Powers program. We created our staff family introduction program. We had our incredible Manitou original TikTok challenge. We started our pilot Baycrest Buddies program. We hosted virtual CIT snacks. We had an awesome Drama Inc. trivia party. We hosted a virtual egg drop competition. We had our epic virtual clothing pop-up store. We had our very own virtual escape room. We went viral with 168,000 views on one of our TikToks. We hosted a virtual talent show. We had a tribal games day. We had a virtual Halloween costume competition. We had an incredible staff meet and get together. We hosted a really successful evening program week. We created virtual cabin activities, and to end off, we even hosted our very own virtual World Games program. We want to thank all of our campers, staff, and alumni who have joined us to experience some of Manitou from home, and for all those who volunteered their time and expertise to keep our Manitou spirit high and that important sense of camp fun and community during these unprecedented times. We hope that you've gotten as much out of it as we have by coming together, even if it was only virtually, to stay connected as a Manitou family.
Well, it's that time of the evening again when we would like to recognize some very special people tonight and read our Camp Friday Night Fireside poem. Jen White, we all know Jen, the Queen of Camp, and Jesse Stern have been with us for 20 years, and that's quite an achievement. Jen, obviously full-time in the office. Jesse grew up at camp and has been helping out every summer for the past number of years as well. Alongside them, we have the 15-year recipients who normally would have been celebrated tonight and given all kinds of special words and gifts. But tonight we're just going to invite them down and look forward to celebrating in person one day soon. For our 15-year campers and staff, one of them has only been staff, but the others have been campers as well. So tonight we'd like to welcome down Hallie Perther, Paige Kruger, and Melissa Bruce to join Jen and Jesse and read our poem for the last time in the summer of 2020. Thank you.
Live each day to the fullest. Get the most from each hour, each day, and each age of your life. Then you can look forward with confidence and back without regrets.
Be yourself, but be your best self. Dare to be different and to follow your own star, and don't be afraid to be happy. Enjoy what is beautiful. Love with all your heart and soul.
Believe that those you love you. Forget what you have done for your friends and remember what they have done for you. Disregard what the world owes you and concentrate on what you owe the world.
When you are faced with a decision, make that decision as wisely as possible, then forget it. The moment of absolute certainty never arises.
Blessed is the generation in which the old listen to the young, and double blessed is the generation in which the young listen to the old.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Lizzie Moscow. Thank you, Lizzie, for singing the camp song for us once again, and I hope everyone at home is singing too.
Hi everyone. Wish we could all be down at Fireside together, but there's only one way to end it, so everyone sing along. Deep in the heart of the north, there's a place where the world comes together, a place where the spirit of life still lives and holds us together. Oh, Manitou, oh, Manitou, for all our lives we'll remember you with songs of joy and friendships true. Oh, Manitou, we'll remember you. These friendships we pray never end, begin here and go on forever. So we gather together again to sing like sisters and brothers. Oh, Manitou, oh, Manitou, for all our lives we'll remember you with songs of joy and friendships true. Oh, Manitou, we'll remember you. Oh, Manitou, we'll remember you.
Thank you to all of you for coming to tonight's final virtual Fireside for what would have been the last night of our 2020 summer season.
We hope you are inspired by hearing from both Baycrest and the Make-A-Wish Canada Foundations.
It's important to remember the struggles certain groups are facing during this pandemic, but also those who face great challenges even when the world is operating as normal. Let's remember to be grateful for everything we have in our lives.
It's incredible to think that we've been able to connect virtually for the past few months and feel a sense of community in a time when unfortunately community and gatherings are just not possible.
It's the strength of our Manitou family that has made it possible for us in the first place, against all odds, to continue to come together, laugh, and grow.
Life is about making the best of every situation, and there is no doubt that we have all suffered by not having camp this summer.
When we all reflect on the summer of 2020, we will remember what a different kind of summer this was. But hopefully, we will not focus on what has been lost and instead focus on our resilience, and that the pause in our lives allowed us to take stock of what was important and reflect on the lessons we've learned.
We hope that there have been some silver linings for you that have stood out. For example, for me, I just want you to know that I have been so grateful to realize how enjoyable it is to learn to cook with my wife, Shelley, something I've always taken for granted. Having the ability just to be around the home and spend more time with her and realizing the incredible achievements that she does each and every day is something that I think I need to look back on and realize I have not done my fair share. This to me is something I truly am grateful for.
And I'm grateful for the many of you that have stepped up and inspired me to see how people can just change and grow and figure out ways to give back to camp, whether it be our amazing programming team, whether it be all the staff, CITs and campers that have given back and helped with their online summer. It's been pretty special, and I look forward to seeing it in real time, real live action in the summer of 2021.
I've learned to become more grateful of the time we spend in nature and the outdoors, even a jump in the lake. I look forward to taking time next summer to do that with all of you at camp in 2021.
I feel so grateful for this one-of-a-kind global community that I've grown so used to spending half of my year with every year, and I've been missing each and every one of you so much every day.
And I'm really grateful for taking the time to learn to slow down and communicate and reach out to people, which I feel like I don't often do enough in my life. And I've had the pleasure of connecting with some of you, both campers, CITs, and staff, and to remember, even when things get busy in our lives and at camp, to really slow down, take the time to check in on each other and make sure we're all doing okay. And of course, I'm looking forward to having that next summer, and of course, hopefully having the spirit and energy of World Games.
We will all not truly know the meaning or understand the impact of COVID-19 on our lives until we look back many years from now.
We wanted to properly acknowledge and honor our strength as a Manitou community and document the challenges, but also the special moments of our summers that some of us may have had that we didn't expect. We felt the best way to do this was by creating our very own Manitou Summer 2020 time capsule.
So we are going to ask you, all of our campers and staff, we are going to have you fill out a form for our time capsule where you can write about your summer, what you found challenging, your biggest lessons learned through these difficult times, maybe something you're grateful for that maybe you used to take for granted, as well as some of the things you are most excited for when you're back at Manitou.
So stay tuned, as in our next email, we will include this form. And once we receive them all from you, they will go into our time capsule and will actually be buried up at camp this fall.
And in 5 years' time, at our first Fireside of the summer, we will dig up the capsule and have each cabin read out what they wrote and share their thoughts and feelings to properly reflect and remind us how far we will have come since the summer of COVID-19.
So please look out for that email, and we hope all of our campers and staff will participate in this important and meaningful camp project.
We want to reiterate that as a Manitou community, we are here for each other. We are all here for you, the parents, for you, the campers, and for you, the staff. If there is anything we can do to make your lives easier, to give you support in a tough time, please know that you can truly lean on us. Let's continue to learn from each other and make the most out of every day.
Thank you for joining us, and we are counting down the days until we are reunited in person at our actual Friday night fireside, where we can come together deep in the heart of the North for another best summer ever.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for coming.